Chapter 7 AS. The creaking of wooden pillars supporting rocks, and the sound of water dripping from somewhere shaking an old cantera. The Ariana Tunnel was well known among beta testers as the best hunting ground in the early stages of the game, because even though visibility was poor, the mob here was weak for their level. The sound of multiple people's footsteps echoed through the tunnels. Illuminated by the torches in their hands, 3 players had just escaped from Aristolas. That place is already Manchu territory. If we can't do what we want, what's the difference from losing your freedom? It might be a different story if it was to protect cute girl, but who want to defend a bunch of old, frightened pig. SHH, keep your voice down. It's fine if we encounter a bat-type monster, but it will become troublesome if spider-type comes too. They push their way through the network of tunnels while enjoying their conversation. The Ariana tunnels are narrow and dark, and they are not suitable for large groups of people because you never know where the monsters will appear. How far we are? Wait a minute. Let me check the map. The second man responds to the first man's words. The mapping records from their beta test period have remained even after the game's official launch, and it was easy to see if they were making good progress or not by looking at it. We are making good progress. Let's keep going straight. Roger that. I'm really glad you won the beta key. These 3 are friends in real life, and although only one of them was selected for the beta test, they still decide to play eternity together. But on the day of the long-awaited official launch, a nightmare happened. The man at the front of the group then noticed his friend gloom. Kuruo, are you okay? Why are you silent? The second man calls out to the last man, but no one responds. Curious, the first man turns around and, to his surprise, sees the last man lying on the ground a short distance away. Kuruo, what is this? How? A torch lying on the ground illuminated a human form covered in black thing. Flame-enchanted sword. The second man drew his sword, and his blade was clad in a fire. In an instant, he rushes to the torch and notices many spiders clinging to the man's body. This is a quote from the Ariana Tunnel Mob's Guide. Ariana spiders are the carnivorous mob that takes advantage of the darkness to attack its prey. They will use their venom to weaken their prey, then eats the corpses after it brings them back to its nest. Its weak attributes are fire and light. Their level will range between 3 to 5. Damn pest. Wielding his burning sword with single-minded devotion, he burned Liana spider and covered his friend's body. The spiders then fled into the depths of the tunnels, and with the spider gone, there appeared an unnatural-looking body lying there. Kuruo. Oi, get a hold of yourself, oi. The man's knowledge from his beta testing days kept him calm, and he shifted his gaze to the party list at the edge of his field of vision and saw that Kuruo had about half of his LP remaining, although he was in a state of abnormal bad status, poison, stunned, and paralysis. The man's expression changed to one of relief, but he was too late to notice that the name column below it was darkened. Shinta? When he turned around, his gentle-mannered shield player tank friend, who should have been there, had vanished, leaving only a rolling torch. The party's name darkened when they logged out, or died. A cry of lamentation and high-pitched laughter clashed almost at the same time inside this tunnel. The shield is too tiresome. When the party has a shield wielder, the other 2 will be ready to get back at me, even if I succeed in a surprise attack. That's why having the knowledge to handle such a situation is a wonderful thing. A man dressed in gray rags appeared from the shadows. And the second man tightened his grip on his fiery sword. Since the man in front of him was famous even during the beta testing period, this man was the infamous PK. PK is an abbreviation of player killer or player killing, and is a general term for those who mainly love to attack and defeat players. Normally, PK is just a prank or a bad-mannered player. It is a problem that can be solved by simply submitting a report and warning, but in the case of death games, it is a different story. This was a clear act of murder. And this guy totally understands that. Prepare yourself, you black dog scum. I've played against you before, and I've never lost even once. He grips his burning sword tightly again and readies it. The man in the rag smiles grimly. Kid, I don't recall us ever playing with each other before. I've downed you 5 times. At least I remember that much. But that was a game, right? Do you understand your life is on the line now, don't you? The man in rags dissolved into darkness. And Kid raises his sword, and flames encircle him, turning the tunnels red. Flame tornado, burning/cyclone edge. A tremendous amount of heat rushes through the tunnel, distorting the empty space, and at the same time, the man in rags burned and suffered damage from the flame that filled the tunnel. Kid again cloaks his sword in flame, and feels a strange presence behind him. Kid profession is samurai, and one of its skill danger sense, reacted. He rolled on the ground, as if he were diving, and immediately readied his sword again. The ragged man smiled and stood where Kid had just been. "Good instincts," he said. "What's so good about it, if it can only save myself?" If this was a skill that could be shared with the party, Kid could have protected Shinto and Karuo when they were attacked. Did you know that skills get more and more effective as you train them? It's your own fault for not training enough. It was a cheap provocation. Kid told himself that, but then he caught on to the man's statement means and looked at the party list. There, Kid could only see that his name was the only one with the light on. Then he noticed 2 daggers were buried in the back of Karuo's body lying before him. The body of his friend disappears as particles of light, and it's flowing into the ragged man. And tasty. Stop. Not even given time to say farewell to his friend, Kid rages and tried to slays the man with his flaming sword. Samurai are characters specialized in high STR and Agi. They also have abundant and powerful job skills, but the skill Kid uses, the flame sword, was especially strong among them, and was even counted as one of the best skills. Kid swung his sword angrily at the man, who didn't break his smile despite being bisected, and Kid eventually calmed down and wondered, why didn't he turn into particles when he died? After that, Kid felt an intense heat in his back. It's not on the wiki or forum, but I got a nice new job at 40. It's a job that is good at disguising corpses and creating clones, right? Did you not know about this? Kid crumples to the ground with his face down. No strength was left in his grip, or in anywhere else, for that matter. Kid looked at his status and saw the words stunned, paralysis, and poison. Still, I will have to work on this in the future, because it's so easy to be spotted in bright light, and even the mobs here can tell where I am. The man said as he clutched his dagger tight and smiled eerily at Kid, who no longer had the strength to respond. Oh well, a player is the best experience source after all, and he happily swung it down.